is up and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about different types of fats. What types should we be using and what types should we avoid? If you're new to my channel, my name is Sepi, and after losing 40 pounds I've become very passionate about nutrition, so I decided to share my knowledge and experience with all of you guys on YouTube. So if you're interested in this topic, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button and follow for more videos. So there are 4 different types of fats. There are saturated fats, there are monounsaturated fats, and there are polyunsaturated fats, and here in the bottom we have trans fats. As you guys can see, they all have different molecular structure that is kind of similar, but their shape is a little different. If you look at the saturated fat molecule, it's a little straight and it's flat. That's why it's a little stiffer, and it's usually found in the form of solid in room temperature. Basically, most of these fatty foods that we normally eat, they include 1, 2, or even 3 of these molecules in them, but we use the one that is predominant to identify those foods with. For example, olive oils and seed oils are very high in monounsaturated fat. Walnuts are a great source of polyunsaturated fats, and animal products are mostly saturated fats. And trans fats are hydrogenated processed oil that are made in factories, such as canola oil and margarines. So now let's talk about what our bodies actually use these different types of fat for. So your body uses saturated and monounsaturated fat for energy provision. It can actually use 1 gram of fat to give you 9 calories of energy, which if you compare it with carbohydrate and protein, it's a lot more because they only give you 4 calories per gram. On the other hand, polysaturated fats are actually used for hormone-like functions. What do I mean by that? These are things like controlling inflammation, blood pressure, blood clotting, and things like that. So the most important type of polyunsaturated fats are the essential fatty acids. We call them essential because your body can't really synthesize it throughout your body, and you have to make sure you get it from food. And you need a really great ratio between 2 types of essential fatty acids. 1 is linoleic acid, which is the omega-6 fatty acids, and 2 is linolenic acid, which are the omega-3 fatty acids. In order to maintain a good health, we have to make sure we keep a good ratio between omega-6 and omega-3s, a ratio of 4:1. Again, so more of the omega-6s, but we have to make sure we add the omega-3s. I'll explain why in a second, but before I do that, remember, an average American diet lacks in omega-3, and it's a very big concern. So we have to make sure we include foods that have omega-3 in them. I'm just going to list them later in this video. So if I were to tell you quickly what their job is, omega-6 is basically just responsible for taking the fat in your food and transporting it through your liver and turning it into energy and passing it through your blood. But omega-3s are responsible for collecting the leftovers. So if you don't have omega-3s, all of these leftover fats will be in your arteries and it won't be collected away and washed away from your arteries. So that will cause serious problems in terms of your heart health later on in future. That's why it's very important to maintain a good ratio of both, for omega-6 to be able to give you the energy that you need throughout the day, and for omega-3s to make sure you keep your arteries clean. So in terms of health, you need to be using saturated, monounsaturated, and polysaturated fat, and you need to stay away from trans fats, which are hydrogenated and processed. You need a small percentage of saturated fat and a little bit more of monounsaturated, and you can have as much as you want as polyunsaturated fat, as much as your calorie balance allows you. Here is a list of all of the monounsaturated fats you guys can find in the market. So my tip for you guys here is to always make sure you buy cold pressed oils, because if you buy regular ones, they go through this processing and they get heated up, and they can actually include trans fats, which we already talked about. They're not going to be good for you. So make sure you stay away from heating these oils and stick to having it and using it on your salads. If you're interested to know what oil is actually best to cook with, make sure you check out the video that I'm going to link up here and in the description below. Okay Okay guys, so let's talk about polyunsaturated fat now. Here is a list of all of the great omega-6 foods that you can include in your diet. So as you guys can see, these are very typical foods that we usually mostly use it on a daily basis, but what we're missing is the omega-3s. So here is a list of all of the omega-3 sources that you could add to your diet. And if you actually notice, it includes a lot of seafood, which some of us don't really get. Cold water fishes like salmon, tuna, and sardines are very, very high in omega-3 sources. But I wanted to mention one important thing when you're purchasing fish. When you're purchasing salmon, there's wild-caught salmon and there's farmed salmon. So I'm going to talk about which one is better. The farmed salmon has a little bit more fat, as you can see, and it includes 25% more omega-3s in it. But because they're farmed, they're actually contained in an area in the ocean or in a swimming pool. They contain a lot of minerals and pesticides in them. But if it's wild caught, it's free in the ocean and they're actually going to go catch it. So it's a little bit healthier. They are a lot more pricey actually, but it's better to consume less and consume a better, healthier choice than, consuming a lot of salmon that is farmed and is adding a lot of minerals in your body. Now in terms of mercury deposit, if you live in Canada, you don't have to worry about the mercury levels in salmon specifically. If you live anywhere else, make sure you check your government's website and find out what the mercury levels are in the type of salmon or type of fish that you're going to be consuming. Now in Canada, you could go ahead and enjoy 2 to 3 servings of wild-caught salmon a week, and that should be healthy and great for you. Now, for any reason, if you don't have access to fish and you're not able to take fish on a regular basis, make sure you take supplementations of omega-3 and pay attention to your dosage and talk to your doctor and find out what's the best product for you. I'm also going to give you a little bit of a tip about nuts. It's always best to soak them overnight and leave it in the fridge because it actually helps the nutrition to be absorbed to your body a lot better and a lot faster. Also guys, remember there are a lot of fortified foods like eggs, milk, and dairy that includes vitamin D and omega-3s in them. They actually inject these vitamins into these types of food because a lot of people are deficient in it, so they actually have to force it to people. So if you feel like you're lacking these vitamins or you're low on these vitamins, make sure you actually get those fortified foods, and it actually does help. So if you wanted to get a rough idea of how much omega-3, for example, do you need in your diet, you could actually type it in Google and you will actually find that women need 1.1 gram a day and men need 1.6 gram a day of ALA, which is omega-3 sources from mostly nuts and seeds. I actually created a very simple programs for my students here at Helix Academy. It helps them identify the bad foods in their diet and get rid of it slowly, and also lets them know what type of food that they need to add to their diet. If you find that interesting, it's absolutely no cost. It's free. I leave a link in the description below. All you have to do is to send me your email and I will email you the program. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I actually put a lot of time and research into these videos, so I really hope it is helpful to you. If you feel like it's a good video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you share it with your friends, comment, and it will really help the YouTube algorithm and it will help me get more views and reach more people out there, and it's all up to you to help me do that. Thank you so much for watching. Love you, and thank you for being a part of my YouTube journey. See you in the next video.